This is Tutor Book 2. We start off the book with the doubling on high A. That's played by just playing high A, and your thumb is just going to strike the hole at the back of the chanter, okay? Just like that. And we play it like this. Okay, that's the doubling on high A. The scale is played starting on low A, and we'll try it after 2. 1, 2. Again, after 2, 1, 2. Also on that page is what we call the half doubling on F, and we call it a half doubling because we're only playing part of the doubling. Okay, usually a doubling on F is 2 Gs. This time it's just 1 G, and that's because we're coming from high A and we can only play 1. Okay. So that's the half doubling on F. After that, we've got our Amazing Grace. So we're going to play this repeated as written. We have a first and second time. You can see the fourth and fifth line. Fourth line has a 1, fifth line has a 2. So the first time you play it, you play 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, and the second time you play 1, 2, 3, and then the fifth line. Okay, it's just a bit of a variation. The last 2 bars of the tune are a bit different. Okay, Amazing Grace. This is a 3/4, so there's 3 beats in the bar. So each note at the beginning of the bar is 2 beats because it's a half note. Okay, so the one that's not colored in, it's open. That's what we call a half note, and it gets 2 beats. So after 2, 1, 2. Amazing Grace. Next we move on to our high G doubling. That's basically just you play your high G, you make an F, and back to high G. So it's that's a high G doubling. the scale underneath starts on a low A. After 2, we'll play it. 1, 2. Again, 1, 2. Okay, and you just notice they don't go from high G to high G at the end, and then a high A to high G is just kind of like a half doubling again. Okay. Next on that page is a burl, and burls are tricky little things to play. Okay, but this is how I teach it. So you play low A, and you bring your finger up close to B, and then you swipe your finger down over the hole, and then back again and curl it up. So it never leaves the chanter, okay? And it's played like this. And the important thing to remember too is to keep this finger nice and tight to your chanter. You can see at the first one I played, I moved my finger a little bit, so you maybe heard the B. Okay, you gotta press down on your B finger so it doesn't move off the hole. All right. Then we have an exercise we can play underneath the scale. So we'll try it from all the notes on the chanter, and you'll just notice there's a grace note on low A before the burl on each one, and that's just to help play the burl. And also in tunes, it's also you will often find grace note on low A before the burl. Okay, so it's played, the scale's played like this, starting on low G. 1, 2. Okay, and there's no G grace note when we're playing the high G and the high A. That's because our hand's already in the air, so we can't play it. Let's try that scale again. 1, 2. Next, we move on to the next page, and it is Brown-Haired Maiden. This is a 2/4, so that means there's 2 beats to each bar. Okay, it's a march. So I'll play both measures, repeat it just as a written. And you can see in the second measure, there's a first time and a second time. So we play the first line, the second line, then we go back to the first line and the third line, and that's the second measure. Okay, Brown-Haired Maiden. Dum dee 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 dum dee 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 dee. After 2, 1, 2. That's Brown-Haired Maiden. Okay, next we move on to our F doublings, E doubling, and D doubling. So we'll start with the F. The F doubling is 2 G grace notes, okay? 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's play our scale. We start in low A. 1, 2. Again after 2, 1, 2. And you notice at the end the high G and the high A. After the high G, you can't play 2 G grace notes. So you just add a thumb grace note and then a G. So it's and that's the same for the E and the D doubling scale as well. And the high A is just a half doubling. Okay, we've done that before. Let's play the E doubling. So the E is a G and an F. G, F. So it's let's play the scale, starting on low A. 1, 2. Try that again. 1, 2. Next we move on to the D doubling. So that's on D, and we're playing a G and an E this time. So it's G, E, G, E. So that's a D doubling, and we'll try the scale. Starting on the way. 1, 2. Try it again after 2. 1, 2. And then we move on to Bonnie Galloway. Now this tune is a 4/4. That means there are 4 beats in each bar. Okay, and this doesn't have repeats in it. Most 4/4s don't have repeated parts. So I'll just play this one right through once. Dee-dum, dee-da-da-dum. After 2, 1, 2. next we move on to the C doublings and the B doublings, and then there's an exercise called doublings on C and B at the bottom. That exercise is quite important because it's in a lot of tunes, and especially the High Road to Gairloch, which is the next tune we'll play. It's in that one a lot, so it's really good. If the exercise at the bottom, if you can go over that one and over it, that'd be really good, because it's, once you conquer that, you'll find it in a lot of tunes. But let's go over the C doubling first. So C doubling is G and D. C, G and D. G and D grace notes, okay? It's like this. And then we'll play the exercise. Start it on the way. Again, after 2, 1, 2. Next we have the B doubling. It's G and D as well. So it's G and D. G and D. And we'll play the exercise below it. Starting on low A. 1, 2. Again, 1, 2. Sorry about that, I made a wee mistake there. Okay, and then at the bottom we have the doublings on C and B. So what they're showing there is playing the doubling on C, so it's 1, 2. Then you're going to low A with an E grace note. Just like when we did the G, Ds, and E's, we're using these 3 grace notes. So it's doubling on C, and then low A with an E. Doubling on C, low A with an E. So it's... And then the other part of that exercise is a doubling on B. 1, 2, and low G with an E this time. 1, 2, low G. So if we just play them as are written there, 2 on C and 2 on B. So it's... Okay, so it's good to practice those as much as you can, over and over and over again, just so they become like, you know, like you've been playing them for ages, okay? And then we'll play High Road to Gairloch, and that exercise we just played is in this tune a lot, especially the second measure. So this is a 2/4, there's 2 beats in every bar, and this is a march. High Road to Gairloch. It has repeated parts, so we'll play each part repeated, one after the other. 1, 2, dum, dee, dum, dee. Okay, after 2, 1, 2. And that is the end of Tutor Book 2. There is some theory at the end. You can have a read through. It's good to have a read and get familiar with some theory, piping, because it's important to know why you're playing the things you're playing. Get familiar with your notes when we say things like measures and bars and things like that, that you know what we're talking about, okay? And just have a wee read through that, the end, and at the end of it, at the back, writing the note names under each note. It's good to do that so you become more familiar with the notes, okay? And then you'll be able to read them when you're playing, okay?